Welcome to our college coaching seminar, where our philosophy is to help you tell the best story about yourself through the college application process. So what are colleges looking for? There's a lot of conversations out there about how important the SAT is or how many extracurricular activities should I have. Let's dive deep into that. After going through many conferences and doing a lot of reading and analysis of what colleges are looking for, the most important thing is your GPA, how you do academically. Colleges want to see how you're going to excel in their colleges. Do you take rigorous course loads? And so really the most important thing is your GPA, which usually allows us to see your class rank. Your class rank can be found usually on your transcript. It's fairly easy to do. If you're ranked 30th and your class is out of 100, then you're ranked in the 30th percentile. What does that mean? Well, usually Ivy League schools like Princeton, Harvard, Yale, they're usually taking the top 5% of their class. Does that mean that you can't get into a great college if you're not ranked in the top 5%? Not at all. For us students here in California, we're fortunate to have an amazing UC public system. And so the UCs usually range from anywhere from the top 1% all the way to 30, 40 percentile. It doesn't really matter. There's going to be many other components, but it does allow you to have an idea of more or less where you may land. So now that we understand that our GPA is the most important factor, what is number two? Everyone always thinks ACTs, SATs, standardized testing. Actually, no. Colleges really care about how rigorous your course schedule was. So how do they know? Do they just look at AP classes? Well, this is really interesting. You may look on your transcript and see that there's a non-weighted versus a weighted GPA. And so what do those two tell you? Well, first of all, colleges are looking at your non-weighted GPA first because that places all on the same level playing field. If I go to a high school that offers 10 AP classes and someone else goes to a high school that only offers 2, then obviously I have a much higher chance of bringing my weighted GPA up. Therefore, colleges will look at your non-weighted first. If you and I both have a 3.4 non-weighted GPA, then we're even. But then they go and they look at how rigorous your course schedule is next by looking at your weighted GPA. And so if I took advantage of all the AP classes my high school offered and I did well in them, possibly I may have a 4.1 weighted GPA. You may have a 3.4 because maybe you didn't take any AP classes and you just decided to take the college level classes. That tells the colleges that the average difference between my 3.4 and 4.1, non-weighted versus weighted, shows a nice large gap. And that means that I took advantage of all the rigorous course load that my school offered, showing colleges that I'm ready to take on a rigorous course load that they will offer me when I land into their campus. Factor number 3, standardized testing. The SAT or ACT, which one should I take? There really isn't a formula for which one you're going to excel more in. My recommendation is take both. If you're lucky enough to be close to one of our locations, we offer them for free. If not so lucky, then figure out ways to go on College Board and take a free online, go on Khan Academy, but there's many ways. The only way you're going to know which one you're going to excel in more is by taking both of them. So, which one and when should I take it? Our recommendation is that we take the PSAT option sophomore year. We take the SAT junior year, most likely second semester if you're in Algebra 2, as the SAT goes all the way up to Algebra 2. And that gives you the option of really prepping during senior year, summer, and then taking the test again senior year. That gives you 2 chances. Most of us don't do that well the first time that we're exposed to something new. But the second time, we're much more comfortable. We know what to expect. We're familiarized with the process. And so usually you will do much better the second time around. Finally, extracurricular activities. I know most of you have been thinking, no way, I try to do all the volunteer work I can to make sure that I'm ready for the college that I'm really aiming for. Well, extracurriculars fall as number 4. GPA, rigorous course schedule, SAT, ACT, and now your extracurricular activities. And so they only mean as much as you can show your curiosity and your passion for something. Curiosity for learning about new things. Passion about photography and you really made it impactful. You started taking photography at church, or you allowed the club at your school who didn't have anyone taking pictures to do photography for them, and then you started their social media. It's really important that the extracurriculars show off how passionate you are about something and your curiosity for learning. A real important component that I don't want to forget about is early decision. When should I apply early decision? This is really important. If you have a dream school, a school that you've loved because grandpa and grandma and everyone in your family went there, and you know that it's that legacy you want to follow, well, you can apply before November 15th, and you will hear back from the school by December 15th. It also does somewhat increase your chances of getting in. Why? Because not that many people are applying to that school that early. But here's the very, very important part of it. When you apply early decision, you are 100% committing to that school, which means financially you need to be 100% sure that you can afford that university, because there is a legal component. We don't really want to find out what happens if you don't decide to commit to them. So if you apply to USC early decision and you get in, you are committed there. You are going there for sure, which means I only recommend my students to do that when the finances are well taken care of, right? When you have that really rich aunt who said no matter where you go, she's going to pay for it, awesome. Then go for that dream. You do increase your chances. Statistics show that usually the percentage of getting into a school does jump when you apply early. Why would you do this? A lot of athletes do this as well. It increases their chances of getting into a school when possibly their GPA or their SAT quite isn't there. You may be thinking, what if this process isn't for you? What about a community college? Why don't I just go there, save a lot of money, and then apply to a four-year college? Well, that's a viable option. That's a great option. Here's our philosophy on community colleges. If you are doing well in high school, if you're thriving already, very responsible, then community college is a great option, because most likely you're going to go to a community college, be focused, thrive, excel, and then apply to a four-year college, and you will have saved yourself 2 years of tuition. Here's where I am concerned. If you haven't been excelling in high school, if maturity-wise it hasn't quite kicked in yet, and academically you aren't thriving, well, is that light switch really going to change in about a year? It might take you some time to get the hang of college, right? You might want to start working, and suddenly, maybe picking up some extra hours or an extra shift instead of a class might be a good idea. And so what happens? That community college life kind of transitions from 2 years to 3 years to 4 years. If the goal is to graduate with a bachelor's and to get into a four-year university, my recommendation always is apply now. Do the Common App, do the Cal State app, do the UC app. Figure out a few schools that you might want to go to. And if things don't work out well, possibly if you're not accepted, or if you are accepted, but you don't get scholarships and the money situation doesn't quite work out, well, then you know you have a great option. And to be honest with you guys, the community college option is even better than it used to be. Now there's a lot of great programs that actually offer you specific guarantees into certain schools. For example, Fullerton College, a great college here near one of our locations, has a program called TAG, Transfer Admissions Guarantees, which means if you get a 3.4 while you're there for a certain amount of units, you're 100% guaranteed admissions into a few UCs. That's a great option. You save a lot of money and you thrive. But remember, parents, my main recommendation is that's a good option for kids who are already very focused and excelling in high school. But if you're a little concerned if they're ready and they're focused, well, let's get them into a 4-year, because once they're there, the urgency will kick in. We've covered a lot of information today, so let's summarize it. What are colleges looking for? Well, first of all, when you approach the college application process, really try to think, how am I going to make an impact? How am I going to make them remember my application from all those other hundreds of thousands of applications out there? And so it's about telling the best story about yourself. What do they look for? GPA, most important part of the application. How rigorous your course schedule is. Usually they look at your weighted GPA there. SAT, ACT scores. Got to take them junior year at least once, one more time senior year, first semester. Then extracurricular activities, they're looking for depth, right? Not breadth. I can't tell you how many breaths I've taken since I started speaking. Way too many to keep track. But has this conversation been in-depth enough that's made an impact on you? And that's kind of the philosophy that colleges are thinking for. And so after that, It's really just a matter of going to work, filling out those applications, figuring out a good list that matches up with you. Highly recommend that you think about 3 stages. 3 schools that are reach schools, schools that you dream about getting in, that you would do anything to get in there. Probably a little reach for you, right? Maybe your GPA is at the bottom of their averages or your SAT score. Things happen. If you really do a good job of writing those essays, that's going to give you that boost. 3 schools right in the middle range where your GPA and your SAT are right in that middle. Could go one way or the other, right? Depending on how many people apply and the level of SATs and ACT scores that get in there. And then some slam dunk schools. You want to fill out your applications feeling really comfortable like you're going to go to college. So you got to find a few schools where you're in the upper echelon in terms of scores. At the end of this, if the information seems somewhat overwhelming, luckily you have good resources. Resources like College Board and all the different counseling at school. But here at TutorZone, luckily we offer a college coaching program to help you guys along the path where we do applications, we work with the personal essays, we start making preliminary school lists, and then we guide you along the way, give you a little homework to start looking for ways that you're going to really get involved with the schools and so on. So please reach out to us. We love to help your student get into the school of their dreams.